2 years later, right, I'm selling dope on the scene, on the track, on the dope spot that I'm in. We trapping. Back then it was a dope trap. You know, it's a dope track. That's what we used to call it back in the early 90s. Now they call it a trap. So we selling dope, right? And the police, long story short, I got caught, ambushed, went to jail. I had, my juvenile record was so bad as where they bound me over. They tried me as an adult. And when they bound me over at age 17, I went into the juvenile tank at 201 Poplar. That is the main jail of adult jail in Memphis, Tennessee. In that process, when I got booked and they had me on with no bond, none of that. So I went upstairs to the juvenile tank, and the first person that I see was my brother. My brother that we stole all the cars with, the brother who shot the people, the brother who robbed for a key and a half for drugs. And they put me in the same cell with him, right? And when I was in the cell with him, he got to telling me detail for detail of what happened to him. What led about, how he been doing since he been incarcerated. And all the fame that he left out on the streets, it didn't even matter to him because his life was on the line. He was facing multiple years in prison, right? And he had been there when I got in that juvenile tank. He had already been there, I think maybe two to 3 years, right? And it was rough in that juvenile tank. It was a lot of gangs. It was different gangs, but it was mainly GD. But it was a few LMG brothers, and it was a lot of, but it was majority. Back then, it wasn't a lot of gangs. It was like a lot of GDs, in the early 90s. So long story short, that was 1992 when I was in the cell with him, and we jailed together for like 6 months, and he finally turned 18, and they put him in the adult population. So the moral of this story, right, is 2020. Mind you, it was in 1992 when I was in jail with this brother. It's 2020. He still haven't came home. So why I'm telling this story is, if you want to be in that lifestyle, I'm not telling you not to live in that lifestyle. But what I am telling you is, whatever comes down the pipe for you in that lifestyle, you can't blame nobody. You can't, because you make the decisions. Not saying that this brother, I don't know if he had a father or not. I don't know if he had people around him telling him not to do certain things. But what I'm telling you is, this brother wanted to be in that lifestyle, and we didn't know at the time that we was going to, by stealing cars and being in that lifestyle, trying to chase these streets, this fame of having nice things and all this. We didn't know that the consequences that he didn't know that the consequences that he was going to have to pay was he was never coming home again. But that's enough of that story. Because why? Because I'm not going to tell the whole story on camera, because I truly believe in putting all my stories in a book, and if you would like to get some of my books, they're at lulu.com. You can look on my pages, Graffiti University Comics, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And if you would ever like to email me and ask any questions, my business number is on the Graffiti University Comics page on Facebook, or you can email me at graffitiuniversitycomics@gmail.com. Thanks for coming to my page. Love.